Okay, party people, let's try this one more time. Lizzie A posed this question on the forums, which said, which function is represented by f of u? And here we have the integration of the natural log of u du equaling all of this. And she wants to understand which function will be right here. There were a number there it was a multiple choice question, but to be perfectly honest, if you don't know what you're talking about, then you're not going to be able to answer this in the first place. So you need a few things to do this successfully. Number one, you need to have integration by parts formula. You need to understand the natural log derivative. You need to be comfortable doing antiderivatives with constants, and then you'll need a little ingenuity. So what do I mean by that? Well, to answer that, I need to take you on a blast from the past. Now, I know this is calculus, but let's try and indulge me here with x minus 7 equaling 54. Now, how did we isolate this function? Or how did we isolate x? We took advantage of some things that we understand with equations, and that is that they're supposed to be balanced. Since they're balanced, if you do something to one side, then you do something to the other, it's still the same thing to the other. It should still be equal. Hence why we added the 7. But we could have added anything. We could have added 12. We could have added 15, but we chose 7 because we took advantage of another thing, and that is that by association, this would become 0, isolating the x and putting it by itself. So this is the kind of ingenuity that we actually need in this problem here, taking advantage of what the expression provides. So assuming that we don't know a natural log of u just off the top of our brains, because who does? We're going to plug it in here as the normal integral, which is natural log of u du under the integration. And we'll see here that there's actually a 1 that's being multiplied by natural log of u, because how many of them are there? There's 1. Same thing as we understand here, there's 1x here and there's a 0 here. So we're taking advantage of this expression. And because of that, now we have two functions. One serves as a function. It's a flat line. It's on a graph. It's a function. And the same thing here with the natural log of u. Once you have two functions being put into integration, you now have something you can do with integration by parts, or at least you should. So the integration by parts formula is the integral of x dy equaling xy minus the integral of y dx. I changed the variables here for anonymity, or more just to save from confusion, from the problem that was initially sponsored by Lizzie. Oh, excuse me. So after that, I took advantage of the different parts and I made x equal to the natural log of u, which would come here. And then I made y, or dy, equal to 1 du. Do not forget these parts, because if you forget a part, then you're going to miss out on something you should be including in your answer. So 1 du is my dy. Now, when I do the integrals and the antiderivatives and the derivatives, the derivatives and the antiderivatives, then you'll see all the different values that are here that we're going to plug back into the integration by parts formula. So x, the derivative of x, which is dx, and the derivative of the natural log of u is 1 over u. And now dy needs to have an antiderivative, which is y, and the antiderivative of du is simply u. Plugging all of that into here, you get all of these things here, and then xy being u natural log of u. And this part is what we need to clean up. It's a simple thing. We just multiply them and it becomes 1. So now, after simplifying this integral, we have the integral of du, which we need to work on. Well, the integral of du we've already done, which is right over here. So the integral of du becomes u, and we plug that in. And now if we compare it to our original formula, we have the substitution property, which says f of u is equal to u. Hence the answer that Lizzie is looking for. I'm hoping that this wasn't just roundabout, that it explained what it was that we were doing, what you needed to understand, and why we were doing what we're doing, which is super important when it comes to math. So please try not to just solve the problems and get it over with. If you understand what's behind the answers, or what's behind you getting the answers, math will be 5, 10, 100 times easier in the future. Thank you very much for stopping by, and hopefully you can ask me a question again later.